When you think of Zach Cherry, the first things that might come to mind are his unforgettable performances on hit shows like Severance, his dry humor, or that cool calm presence he brings to every scene. But behind that recognizable beard and friendly smile is a man with a uniquely entertaining life, filled with quirky moments, unexpected turns, and a dad who might just have cracked the code to one of the most mysterious shows on TV. Let's start with something simple. A movie. The Jerk. Steve Martin in all his wild, absurd, ridiculous glory. Zach remembers the first time he watched The Jerk like it was yesterday. He was probably around 12, at home, slouched on a saggy couch with the kind of popcorn that leaves your fingers yellow for days. His dad popped in the DVD, yes, a DVD, and said, "This is real comedy." Zach didn't know what to expect. He was a quiet kid, the kind who'd rather observe than jump into the chaos. But within 5 minutes, he was laughing so hard he had to pause just to breathe. There was something in Steve Martin's performance, that unapologetic absurdity, the almost childlike naivete, that sparked something in Zach. It wasn't just funny, it was liberating. It was, in some strange way, an invitation. You can do this too. Fast forward a few years. Zach is in high school, not yet the actor we know, but definitely a performer in his own right. He's in the marching band, yes, seriously, and this is no small operation. They took it seriously. Matching uniforms, perfectly timed steps, brass instruments shining under stadium lights. It was one of those days when everything was supposed to go perfectly, a performance for the entire school, visitors, parents, even a local news camera or two. And then it hit. Literally. An earthquake. Now, if you've never been in an earthquake, let me tell you, it doesn't feel like in the movies where the ground splits open and cars fall into lava. It's more like the world suddenly decides to dance. Wobbly knees, shifting floors, and an unmistakable panic that spreads like static electricity. Zach was mid-step, trombone in hand, when the ground shook. At first, he thought it was just nerves. Then he saw the flag twirlers stop. Then the cheerleaders screamed. Instruments flattened to the floor, and the band disbanded in the most literal way possible. But here's the best part, Zach didn't move. Not right away. "I just thought it was part of the routine," he laughs now. "Like maybe we added a dramatic wobble and I forgot." Turns out, that moment got him a full spread in his high school yearbook. Band hero, the headline read. A blurry photo showed Zach standing still, like a calm center in the middle of chaos, trombone held like a sword. Nobody else looked cool in that photo, hair frizzed, mouths open, people ducking, but Zach. Zach looked like a man who knew something. Which brings us to Severance. If you've seen it, you already know it's not a show you just watch. It's a show that pulls you in and dares you to guess what's coming next. Zach plays Dylan, a seemingly brash but surprisingly laid character, and his performance alone has launched 1,000 Reddit theories. But the wildest theory of all came from his dad. "My dad is obsessed," Zach says, smiling the kind of smile that only people with overzealous parents know. Like, he calls me after every episode and breaks it down like it's a CIA report. According to Mr. Cherry, the show isn't just about corporate control or mind separation. No, it's actually an allegory for American work culture layered with references to Kafka, Orwell, and somehow, The Matrix. He even has charts. Actual printed out charts taped to the wall of his home office, complete with color-coded timelines and photos of characters connected by yarn. Zach tried to tell him, "Dad, I work on the show. I know what's going to happen." But his dad just nodded and said, "That's what they want you to think." This kind of family dynamic is exactly why Zach never really had a choice when it came to comedy. It's in his blood. The kind of natural storytelling and offbeat observations you can't learn in acting school, you get that from growing up in a house where the dinner table is a stage and every meal ends with someone impersonating a neighbor. But even with all the chaos, the wild dad theories, and the earthquake band debacles, Zach's journey into acting wasn't a straight line. He didn't come from a Hollywood family. He didn't move to LA with stars in his eyes. He just followed what made him laugh, what made him feel. One improv class led to another. A small theater role turned into a guest spot. Then a recurring character. Then Severance. And now he's sitting across from Jimmy Kimmel, laughing about high school yearbooks while the world gets to see what the people closest to him have always known. Zach Cherry is one of the most interesting people in the room. And not just because he's funny, though he is, endlessly. but because there's something honest about him. Something that doesn't try to be too polished, too perfect. He tells stories the way your best friend would. The kind of guy who'd help you move furniture, then make you laugh until your stomach hurts during a pizza break. That's why audiences connect with him. Whether he's making your question reality in Severance, showing up in Marvel's Shang-Chi, or just telling a ridiculous story on a talk show, he brings something real. There's a moment in his interview with Jimmy Kimmel where Jimmy holds up the yearbook photo, the one of Zach in the marching band, and asks, "Did you really get a full page just for that?" And Zach, deadpan, says, "Yeah. I think they thought I was a hero. Or maybe they were just out of content." That's the Zach Cherry effect. He doesn't have to try hard to be funny, he just is. So, next time you're watching Severance and wondering what Dylan's really thinking, or you catch Zach in a new project, or you're rewatching The Jerk and laughing all over again, just remember, somewhere out there's a dad with a conspiracy theory and a wall of string, a yearbook editor still confused about that full-page spread, and a guy named Zach Cherry who never thought standing still during an earthquake would be his first taste of fame. And maybe, just maybe, that's the best kind of origin story there.